So, I want to do a video on Rainbow Six Siege advanced settings for controllers because not a lot of people understand really how they work, and even I still have a difficult time trying to explain it in a way that makes sense because the way this is all interconnected is kind of stupid. It's really stupid. So, the easiest, surprisingly, I think is surprising, is this rotation, controller rotation. So, classic is basically like linear in Fortnite, if we use that as an example, and update is like exponential. So you have your base sensitivity here, and no matter what tilt my controller is at, it stays consistent until I reach, if I can hit it, the outer threshold. That sudden boost, I'm not turning my stick faster. That's just the outer threshold. And then updated is basically like exponential. Your sensitivity is now dependent on how much tilt your joystick is at. So my joystick is at almost a complete vertical standing, and I have a low sensitivity. And as I increase it, so does my sensitivity, gradually increasing all the way into that outer threshold. So you might be wondering, what is this outer threshold I'm talking about? It's basically how much, okay, I hate that glitch. Basically, it's if it's at 0, so you know that boost I was talking about, that is outer threshold. Or to be more exact, outer threshold dictates when you experience that boost. If you set it at 0, you'll experience that boost later. If you have it at a higher value like me at 18, you'll experience it sooner. And this is where classic really isn't a true linear setting, because it doesn't turn off that boost. There's nothing in the settings that you can do to turn off that boost, unfortunately. So classic is just not a true linear. It's not truly linear because of that boost. But yeah, that's what outer threshold does. It dictates when you experience that boost. Okay. And want to go into this though. Vertical sensitivity, horizontal sensitivity. So these affect your ADS sensitivity, because your ADS sensitivity is basically a multiplier for your vertical and horizontal sensitivity. So if I was to turn this down to 90/90, my ADS will feel slower, because my ADS, as I said, is a multiplier for your vertical and horizontal sensitivities. And going off of that, nothing here is isolated like in our games. It's all interconnected. So, for example, even if you have horizontal and vertical acceleration set to 0, these settings like acceleration delay and ramp up time will still affect your sensitivity. It's weird. And also, despite what it says here, it says that when the stick used for camera input is at a maximum, so it says basically what it's saying is that this vertical, horizontal, ADS, all those settings, the acceleration settings, they should only affect the boost. They should only affect the boost you experience here. They don't feel like they do just that. I've noticed that when I turn those on, it also affects your acceleration here, not just here. It's weird, it's stupid, I don't know why it's like that. So that's why I have it off, because it's annoying. It shouldn't do that. It should do what it says, but it doesn't. I don't know why. Your base your ramp up time. Basically, this is also pretty easy to explain. So if it's at 0, you'll experience the full strength of your sensitivity instantly, unless you're unupdated. But 0 decreases the amount of time it takes for you to reach your sensitivity's full speed. And as you increase it, that time also increases. So That's what that does. And as I said, everything is interwoven, so this also affects this. And these accelerations also affects this. Everything affects everything, and it's annoying, but it's just how it is. And oh yes, delay. So acceleration delay, just like how the accelerations, just like how these don't just affect only take effect when you hit the extra boost, these also acceleration also doesn't just take effect when you hit that boost. It affects your overall sensitivity too, which is weird. But in short, if I was just to try to simplify it, when you have at 0, you hit your, as soon as you hit the outer threshold, you experience that boost instantaneously. But as soon as you start raising the value, for example, at mine at 15, you'll experience, there will be a delay between the boost, which can be useful. Like say you got your outer threshold here, you got to a nice number, a nice value that you prefer, and when you start when you go down to a 17 or go up to a 19, the jump feels too much. Like it feels like too much of a jump. This could help with that. But as I said, it doesn't only take effect when you hit during that boost, during this gray zone, the boost. It also just affects your here. I don't know why it's stupid, but hope that somewhat clears things up. Like you could like comment and try to explain it better, but that's my best attempt of trying to explain this. It's a whole bunch of bullshit here, because as I said, everything affects everything, and it's all interwoven, jumbled. But yeah, hope this helped.